bombing.
In fairness, the bomb was actually meant.
We have to deal with him.
Smart people on every side are close to panicking.
The anticipation surrounding Mission Impossible. The final reckoning has been building steadily over the past couple of years, and for good reason. As the 8th and reportedly final chapter in the Mission Impossible franchise starring Tom Cruise as Ethan Hunt, the film represents the culmination of nearly 3 decades of cinematic espionage, death-defying stunts, and complex international intrigue. Following the release of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, Part 1 in 2023, fans have been eagerly awaiting how the story will wrap up, what fate will befall Ethan Hunt and his loyal IMF team, and how director Christopher McQuarrie intends to tie all the loose ends together while pushing the boundaries of action cinema yet again. Tom Cruise, known for his unparalleled dedication to performing his own stunts, has once again pushed himself to the extreme for this film. As confirmed by behind-the-scenes glimpses shared during the production phase, Cruise has undertaken even more ambitious physical feats for the final reckoning, including sequences involving aerial acrobatics, high-speed motorcycle chases, and combat scenes set in perilous locations. Cruise's commitment is legendary at this point, and each installment in the franchise has only upped the ante, setting new standards for practical effects in action films. This film is no exception, and many industry insiders are calling it the most technically challenging and narratively ambitious mission impossible to date. Returning to direct is Christopher McQuarrie, who has become a trusted creative partner of Cruise's over the years. Having helmed Rogue Nation, Fallout, and Dead Reckoning Part 1, McQuarrie has effectively redefined the tone and scope of the franchise, giving it a more grounded, character-driven edge without compromising on spectacle. For the final reckoning, he has promised a story that not only delivers on the high-octane action fans have come to expect, but also brings a deeper emotional resonance, exploring the personal stakes for Ethan Hunt and confronting him with the consequences of choices made across his entire career as a covert operative. One of the most intriguing aspects of this final installment is the way it will connect and reconcile the various threads introduced in earlier films. Over the years, the franchise has evolved from a straightforward spy thriller into a sprawling, interconnected saga with recurring villains, shifting alliances, and morally ambiguous missions. From the betrayal of Jim Phelps in the 1996 original to the personal vendetta of Solomon Lane in Rogue Nation and Fallout, the narrative has consistently delved into the cost of loyalty, the gray zones of espionage, and the question of how much one must sacrifice for the greater good. The final reckoning is expected to pay off these long-running themes, possibly forcing Ethan to choose between his principles and the mission one last time. The returning cast includes familiar faces who have become beloved fixtures in the series. Ving Rhames reprises his role as Luther Stickel, the only character besides Ethan to appear in every installment. His steady, loyal presence has grounded the series since the beginning, and fans are eager to see how his journey concludes. Simon Pegg returns as Benji Dunn, whose evolution from comic relief techie to full-fledged field agent has been one of the more rewarding arcs in the later films. Rebecca Ferguson, who debuted as Ilsa Faust in Rogue Nation, brings back her blend of vulnerability and lethal skill, continuing to blur the lines between ally and rival. Hayley Atwell, introduced in Dead Reckoning Part 1 as Grace, a master thief with uncertain motives, also returns, and her dynamic with Ethan is expected to deepen significantly as the stakes rise. New characters have also been introduced, adding further intrigue. One of the most notable additions is Esai Morales as Gabriel, a mysterious antagonist with ties to Ethan's past. His presence in Part 1 was cryptic and menacing, and in The Final Reckoning, we expect to learn more about his motivations and what role he plays in the larger conflict threatening the IMF. Morales' performance has been praised for its quiet intensity and the philosophical edge he brings to the villain archetype. Unlike many previous villains, Gabriel seems less interested in money or power and more in the ideological implications of chaos and control. This makes him a particularly dangerous foil to Ethan, who has always struggled to balance personal responsibility with global duty. The production of The Final Reckoning has been a massive undertaking, spanning multiple countries and enduring delays due to the COVID-19 pandemic, scheduling challenges, and the ambition of the stunts involved. Filming locations have reportedly included parts of the Arctic Circle, the Alps, and various urban centers throughout Europe and Asia. One of the most talked-about sequences involves a train set piece that took months of planning and involved building a full-scale, functioning locomotive just to destroy it on screen in a climactic action beat. These practical stunts are not just marketing gimmicks. They are intrinsic to the franchise's appeal and a point of pride for Cruise and McQuarrie, who have long advocated for doing things for real to capture the authenticity and tension that CGI alone can't replicate. Thematically, the movie is said to delve into legacy, mortality, and the burden of leadership. Ethan Hunt has always been a man on the edge, reluctant to lead, but compelled by duty and empathy. Over the years, he's lost allies, betrayed friends, and compromised his own ideals to protect the innocent. This final chapter aims to examine the toll of that life, not just physically, but emotionally and psychologically. There is also speculation that the film may address the future of the IMF itself, whether the organization still has a place in a world increasingly defined by cyber warfare, artificial intelligence, and shifting political alliances. Technically, the film has benefited from some of the most advanced cinematographic equipment available. Longtime Cruise collaborator and cinematographer Fraser Taggart returned to capture the globe-trotting visuals with IMAX-certified cameras and aerial drone rigs, ensuring that every frame feels immersive and epic in scale. Whether it's a car chase through the tight alleys of Venice or a halo jump over the Arctic, the film has been designed to be experienced on the biggest screen possible. The use of practical effects, meticulous choreography, and minimal green screen helps ground even the most outrageous moments in a sense of tangible realism. Musically, composer Lorne Balfe returns to expand upon his work from the previous two installments. Balfe's scores have introduced darker tones and more layered emotional motifs than earlier entries in the franchise. For The Final Reckoning, he has reportedly developed a suite of new themes that reflect the internal conflict of the characters and the finality of their missions. Expect echoes of the classic mission. Impossible theme, of course, but also richer orchestrations that signal the end of an era. The music, much like the cinematography and stunt work, serves as a key storytelling tool, adding depth and tension to the high-octane sequences and quiet character moments alike. As for the storyline, while specific plot details have been closely guarded, it is understood that The Final Reckoning will pick up immediately after the events of Dead Reckoning. Part 1, which ended on a dramatic note with Ethan barely escaping with his life and the entity, a rogue artificial intelligence, still at large. The entity, capable of manipulating digital systems, disinformation, and national security frameworks, presents a global threat unlike anything the IMF has faced. It represents a shift in how the series explores villainy, not through human antagonists alone, but through the broader concept of uncontrollable technological evolution. Ethan's mission, then, is not only to stop those who seek to weaponize the entity, but also to confront the possibility that some threats are simply too big to be defeated through traditional means. The Final Reckoning will also reportedly circle back to Ethan's origins within the IMF. Rumors suggest that flashbacks or revelatory dialogue will uncover details about how he was recruited, what drove him to accept a life of constant risk, and what he has lost along the way. This retrospective approach will likely give longtime fans a sense of closure, offering a fuller picture of who Ethan Hunt is and why he has remained so committed to his cause even when the odds and betrayals stack against him. There may also be resolution to the emotional connections that have lingered unresolved, including the memory of Julia, Ethan's former wife, and his complex relationships with team members who have become like family.